It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at a social deduction game called Donner Dinner Party, in which each player is going to be a member of the Donner Party. They are stuck in wilderness, stuck in the snow, attempting to gather enough food to survive until they are rescued after several rounds in the game. If you cannot gather enough food, however, the group is going to have to resort to cannibalism, which is what the game is about. We'll talk about the theme a little bit later. But the game has a very sort of werewolf, the resistance style feel, if you happen to be familiar with those games. I'm going to give you a look at how this works. We'll come on back after that. I'll maybe compare it a little bit to that style of game, that ilk of game, and I'll tell you what I thought of it. So here we go. So here's what you get with the game. You get several decks of cards. You're going to get the little board, some player tokens, and then this camp leader token as well, and a round marker, which is a frying pan, which is kind of messed up, but okay. And then you are going to set up some things. So for example, in this case, we're going to be simulating a game here with 6 players, which are these 6 tokens. The cards are right here for the different roles, and they come in 2 different types. The ones that have a grayish blue background, those are simply pioneers. The ones with the red background are going to be the cannibals. So you shuffle this up, everyone gets one. And then at the beginning of the game, before the first round, you are going to all close your eyes and ask the cannibals to open their eyes if you have more than one. In this case, we do, so that they know each other, okay? So those are going to be divvied out to everyone. I'll just set them aside for now. You are also going to give everyone from the shuffled supply deck here 1 card that they'll be able to trigger once during the game. And then you can begin the game. Someone is the camp leader at first, and each round simply goes like this. You are going to shuffle up the hunting deck here and give every player 3 cards. You are also going to set one face down in the food area so that you can figure out how much food has been gathered for the round. And then everyone around the table takes a look at their 3 cards. Sometimes they'll be simply empty hands. Sometimes they'll be food, 1 food. Sometimes 2 food, like this one. Sometimes they will be medicine, poison in this case right here, which is going to spoil all the food. Or medicine, which medicine counters the poison, like that one there, okay? So everyone gets 3, everyone picks one. They put it on the table and they put their finger on it. The camp leader at that point is going to pick a player and look at their card secretly and then give it back, and they can say whatever they want to about that card, whatever they would like to reveal. They may not, of course, show the card, just like you cannot show your role to anyone in the game. Then all the cards are going to be actually added. Everybody threw one in. Again, there's one no one knows. So all the cards that everyone added are going to be thrown into a pile, which would be 6 cards at the beginning of the game. So let me grab another one. We're going to shuffle those up so we don't know which one came from whom, and we are going to reveal them and figure out if there's enough food to feed everyone. 5 food so far, that's an empty one. 6 food, that's enough food for everyone. And empty. Great. 6 food is enough to feed 6 people. And so this round simply ends now. We go to the next round on the marker, where the camp leader is going to rotate. We gather up all the cards, shuffle them, start again. However, let's say in this same scenario, someone threw in some poison. Poison spoils the whole thing. Or if there simply was not enough food, okay? So if there's poison in there and no medicine, no antidote for that poison, then we play the second part of the round, in which we have a couple of minutes to discuss whatever we want to discuss, to figure out who threw what in. You can, talk, whatever, without revealing any information. And then we call for a vote. The camp leader is going to call for a vote. Everyone is going to point at someone else that you would like to take out of the game. If there is a tie, camp leader is going to decide who that is, the tiebreaker. And then that player is removed from the game. They reveal their card. You figure out if they were in fact a cannibal. So if so, good job to the pioneers. Or if they were a pioneer. That person's token is removed. So let's say it was this player. They are removed from the board here. And you go to the next round anyway. You advance this. and then shuffle up the cards and go for it again. In this case, you are now going to need only 5 food to go through a round without having to remove a player from the game. The objective is different depending on which team you're on. So let's say you are one of the pioneers. You can win in one of 2 ways. You can take out both the cannibals, or as many as there are, from the game, or you can survive the necessary number of rounds, 6 or 7, depending on the number of players, without being overwhelmed by the cannibals. The cannibals win by having as many cannibals as there are pioneers. So in this case, if one more of these is removed during the next round, well, there are 2 cannibals, 2 pioneers. At that point, the cannibals can simply overwhelm the pioneers, game's over, and they would win. So you have to wait them out or take them out when it comes to the cannibals. And that's pretty much it. That's the game. Besides that, as I said, you are going to have one of these special things that can do different things, like give you more cards. Here, let's take a look at some of them. So the compass here, for example, says that the camp leader deals you 1 additional hunting card. So there you go. This one gets you 2 hunting cards. The hatchet here says that you play it when you are the one that is voted upon to be eaten, and in addition to you, the current camp leader is also eaten. You have a few different things like that. So some are defensive. This card here gives you 2 votes when you have to vote on someone to take out, and so on and so on. So there you go. You can even, again, you cannot show those, but you could say you have one, and maybe that'll make people a little more hesitant to go after you. That's the base game. There is a couple of small variants you can play with. The first one being playing with ghosts. And the way that works is when someone is taken out of the game, you simply flip the token over to their ghost side. One time during the game, that player can no longer speak, by the way. One time during the game, after fingers have been pointed, the ghost can pick someone, say boo, and that player runs away. Their vote is eliminated from the count. And then this token is removed and they are done. The other variant is you can throw in this very powerful card into the supply deck, Old Tasty. And this might not get dealt out, but it might if you shuffle it into the supply deck. And this card is quite simple. It says that you must play this card after you have voted to be eaten. The game ends immediately. The cannibals win. That's it. So it's just a bomb in the game that might or might not be out there. People might or might not be holding it. They could be bluffing if they say, hey, do not pick me. I'm with the good guys, but I happen to be holding Old Tasty. You have to be careful with that information. So there you go. That's it. That's how you play the game. Let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I thought of it. All right, so that gives you an idea of how the game works. As you can see, pretty straightforward play here. Let's take a look at some talking points. Let's start with thematic ties. I said I would come back to this. The theme I find kind of off-putting, but it's handled in a very cartoony way, thankfully. The illustrations are not grim. There is not a lot of, the theme is not hammered home here. However, I do suspect that with this theme, they were perhaps hoping to appeal to a Cards Against Humanity type crowd. I'm not sure if that's going to work out. The game actually does not play like that style of game, right? So I'm not sure if someone going in here because, haha, the theme could be seen as funny to them is going to get what they want. And I do worry that other people that would enjoy this style of game might be put off by the theme. I myself do not have a problem with it. I thought it was a bizarre theme, but it's not problematic while you are playing. So if you're concerned about it, I think you don't really have to worry about it too much. It's sort of like Werewolf. It's the same thematically. It's sort of a similar vibe. If you're not put off by being turned into a werewolf and then eating people, well, in this case, you can just assume whoever is a cannibal is just sort of a monster and they're attacking people, okay? The aesthetics of the game, that's the quality of the components, the look of everything, I find to be excellent. Cards are very good quality, if a little thin, but they're well finished, have a nice linen finish. The rest of the components are minimal, but they're very well done, so thumbs up there. Replayability here. The game has those special cards, the supply cards, that I think are going to add a little bit to the replayability, but it's basically in the same camp as a werewolf-style game. Perhaps not one with all the special rules, all the special characters, because you don't have that in this one, but you can certainly play many times. It's all about that social interaction. If you liven the game up with the social interaction, you are going to have a decent amount of replayability here. The game length is spot on, and I definitely want to highlight this because I do find other games of this style can sometimes go too long. They sometimes aren't sure when to end, especially a game like Werewolf. Now, this won't play as many people as Werewolf, obviously, but it's got a really good cadence to it. Rounds are quick. Some rounds you'll even skip the voting phase, and that's very interesting when you sometimes do it, sometimes had enough food and don't do it. So as far as the game length here goes, excellent job on that. The ease of play, the fiddliness, how difficult is everything to figure out, very happy with that as well. Rounds are simple, turn structure is straightforward, the special cards are clearly labeled, when you should play them, what they do. So there, they get another big thumbs up. And then lastly, tactics and strategy, and of course, the luck. This one's a little bit tricky to tackle in a social deduction game, but I think they give you enough happening to seed the doubt without it being shooting in the dark, if you would, and without it being so apparent who's who. The games play out very interestingly. You looking as the party leader, looking at one card and then saying something, or not. You can do whatever you want. That's very good. It adds enough information in there that you could start adding the mistrust, and it happens every time in a very nice, organic way. It starts to come forth. There being a card out there that no one looked at, I also think is very nice, and seeds a little bit of suspicion. Now, yes, you are picking the card that you put in from a hand of 3 cards, and there's certainly a large dose of luck in there. But I think it's good enough that it sort of represents going out and foraging and coming back with nothing. You usually, I haven't seen it happen anyway, are not forced to add in poison. It would be really rare that you are dealt 3 poison cards. If you are a good person, one of the pioneers, you simply might not be able to help. Or you could add in some medicine and maybe prevent some poison from showing up. So that's good as well. Overall, I was pretty impressed with this one. I was not sure going into it I was going to think. It's a game that, again, the theme was a little concerned it might be gruesome, or handled in a way that was distasteful. I did not have that problem myself. And then after reading the rules, I also thought to myself, this is just like a werewolf variant. But it didn't feel that way either. The game certainly has a little bit of the resistance. It has some werewolf, and then it has also that card selection vibe from Battlestar Galactica, right? The Battlestar Galactica throw in a card and try to pass a check, get to a threshold. This game borrows that, and it does it well. So on the one hand, the originality here is very low. That's my main hit against it. If you are already a connoisseur of this style of game, this one might not have anything new for you. In fact, I would go as far as to say it definitely doesn't have anything new for you. However, if you are not familiar with that many games of this ilk, or if it looks like it could be a favorite in that genre, then yes, I would recommend it. Well made, interesting, tight play time. This is a clever game. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. I think I'm going to continue exploring this one for a while, play with a few different groups, see how it goes. So far, I've been very happy with it, and I do like the tension and the discussions that organically come into the gameplay. So, I'm going to give this one a seal of approval. I would say go out and check it out if you're okay with the play style, with the theme. I think you're going to enjoy this one.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.